Marvel Rivals is one of my favorite games, but I'd be lying if I said a couple of characters don't absolutely drive me crazy. Today we're going to be exposing these characters for what they really are. Pure annoyance that has been sent to ruin our day, make us carefully question who needs to be banned the most in Ranked. Black Panther. Starting this list strong with everyone's favorite blink and you're dead character, Black Panther. He's been annoying since day one, and somehow got even worse after the devs patched the hit register issues. Before that, half his claws just kind of phased through you like he was role-playing as a friendly hologram. But now every ranked player with half a brain cell is fighting tooth and nail just to lock him in before anyone else does if he's not banned. And if you don't get him, congratulations, you get to play Guess Which Healer gets deleted for the next 5 seconds. Here's Panther's whole playstyle in a nutshell. Hide in the shadows, wait for cooldowns, and then turn into a one-man horror movie villain. He pops out of corners, throws his spears, zips back and forth like he's cosplaying as the Flash, and by the time you process what's happening, your supports have already uninstalled the game. And the worst part, he's not even consistently scary. Sometimes he melts your backline faster than butter in a frying pan, and other times he's basically the tickle monster, just smacking your supports like they're playing patty cake. It's never in between. And that's where the frustration really comes in. When you fight a Black Panther, you're not just fighting him, you're fighting RNG. Is this the delete my whole team one combo Black Panther, or is this the dies mid-leap and blames the healers Panther? As Carcat pointed out, he's probably one of the few characters that actually needs a rework, because right now, he's a menace not just to the enemy, but also to the player using him. Human Torch. This character sucked when he was added to the game. Let's be honest, nobody cared. He was basically the Marvel Rivals equivalent to that one cousin that shows up to a barbecue and then sits on their phone the whole time. Most people didn't even bother picking him. And yet somehow, here we are. He went from 0 to nightmare fuel. And I have no idea why he isn't picked more often, because Torch is extremely oppressive. Sure, he's not the easiest character to learn, but compared to other dive DPS, he's basically baby's first dive hero. He has training wheels built into his kit, and the moment you take them off, he's suddenly dunking on half the lobby. What absolutely drives me up the wall about this guy is his movement. He doesn't just move around, he zips, he zooms, he flies around like a cracked out mosquito that sets itself on fire. You're trying to hit him, lining up your skill shots, and he just dodges everything while spamming those little firebolts. And don't let the little fool you. Those things hurt. Get too close and you're suddenly wondering if you accidentally walked into a Dark Souls boss fight. Now let's talk about his ultimate and zone control, because Torch doesn't just burn you, he burns the entire objective. If you aren't hard focusing him, your life becomes a literal inferno. He's a guy who makes standing on point feel like a death sentence. Back in the day, it used to be easy. Pick Iron Man, laser him out of the sky, and boom, problem solved. But lately, I don't know if it's the buff he got, or if Human Torch mates have just collectively evolved like Pokemon, but he gets close to Iron Man now, and it's Torching doing the melting instead of Tony. And here's the real question. Is Human Torch secretly one of the most broken DPS in the game? Or are his mains just finally catching up to his potential? Emma Frost. Okay, let's talk about the Goonerbait character. No, not that one. Not that one either. Oh, you already know who I'm talking about. Emma Frost. If you've ever played a dive character in your life or tried frontlining as a tank, you know the pain. Emma just isn't annoying, she's personal vendetta levels of annoying. Let's start with the grab. Her grab is straight up nuts. Wolverine has a grab too, sure, but Emma's is basically Wolverine but DLC edition. She doesn't just yank you out of a position, she does it while being tankier than half the roster. She pops her diamond damage reduction, shrugs off half your cooldowns, and then casually grabs you by the neck WWE style, and either punts you away from your healers, or throws you into the middle of her team, or straight up kicks you off the map. And that's just not crowd control, that's emotional damage. And the kicker? No pun intended. That alone would be more than enough to land her on this list. But no, Emma said hold my wine glass because she's got more. Her ultimate, her mind control, Snow Bunny Stunlock special. This ability is hands down one of the most frustrating ults in the game. You thought you were about to pop your combo? No. Now you're just standing there like a mannequin at the mall while Emma's team just dismantles your entire squad. And your poor healers? Useless. Absolutely useless. They get to stand there and watch their entire team get mowed down. Then take a long walk back to spawn. So I need to know, is Emma Frost the most unfair crowd control character in Marvel Rivals? Or are people just salty? Penny Parker. Ugh, okay, Penny Parker is one of those characters that fooled everybody. She launched straight mid. Okay, nobody cared, she wasn't scary, she wasn't even threatening. And then out of nowhere, she leveled up into the most oppressive character in the game. And not the fun oppressive like, oh wow, this fight is hype. No, Penny makes matches boring. Okay, that's the truth. Any map that involves holding points, anytime you need a hard defense, that's Penny's playground. She doesn't just defend, she locks the whole lobby in a timeout. Her Spider-Mind's turn dives into suicide missions, force your team to completely change how they play, and give her healers the equivalent of a free babysitting. She sets up camp, tosses her mines around, and then suddenly your entire team is standing outside the objective twiddling their thumbs while the clock ticks down for 3 straight minutes. Nobody's pushing, nobody's making progress, because anybody who tries to gets blown up like they stepped on a Lego with C4 in it. And that's not even the worst part. Add Rocket to the mix and her team up gives her another mind buddy. That's right, double the explosions, double the pain, double the fun if your idea of fun is uninstalling the game. I've lost track of how many times I've seen a perfectly good Cloak and Dagger ultimate go onto point, only to get deleted instantly because they ran straight into a bunch of penny mines. 1 second they're ulting, the next second they're gone. Erased from existence like they never queued up in the first place. And that's why right now Penny Parker might actually be the character I hate the most. She doesn't just win games, she drains the soul out of them. So I need to know, is Penny actually broken, or am I just losing brain cells every time I see her little mech strut onto the field? Let me know in the comments, because I know there are some Penny mains foaming at the mouth to defend her. Jeff the Land Shark. Poor Jeff, the fallen king of Season 0. Back then he was a menace, an actual aquatic nightmare. But fast forward a couple of seasons, and after all the nerfs, he's basically turned into a neutered water dog. By Season 1, he went from Terror of the Seas to Please Don't Pee on the Carpet, and Season 3, the patch completely rearranged his entire playstyle. He started out as a dive healer, yeah, no pun intended, who could dish out some respectable DPS while also keeping himself and any frontline homies alive. But now, he's just another backline support with an ultimate that basically boils down to knock people off the map or pray they can't swim. The devs took a chaotic sea lion and turned him into a pool noodle. But here's the twist. Jeff has been creeping up back into the meta recently. Why? Because his ultimate is actually useful now. Before, sure, it could swing a team fight in a pinch, but it was inconsistent. More of a party trick than a team play. Now, though, you're actually happy to see him drop his ultimate, unless you're on the receiving end, in which case, good luck staying on the objective. The reason he earns his spot on the most annoying list, though, is his survivability. And this is after they already nerfed him hard. You get him low, you burn your cooldowns, you're practically drooling waiting for the elimination screen to pop up, and then nope, he dives into the ground, swims away like nothing ever happened, and resurfaces under another healer, fresh as daisies, ready to waste your time again. It's like fighting a goldfish that somehow learned guerrilla warfare. The only saving grace? His bubbles. Watching Jeff zoom around like Sonic on bath salts is at least funny, until you remember he's still alive and now you gotta deal with him. So here's the real question. Is Jeff secretly still busted, or do we just hate characters who refuse to die? Adam Warlock. Adam is a weird one. On paper, he's a healer. You pick him expecting the usual. Hang in the back, keep your team topped up, don't make waves. But no, Adam rolled up and said, why not both? He heals, yes, but he can also pump out a ridiculous amount of damage, to the point where diving him as a DPS often feels like less of an assassination attempt and more like a volunteering for target practice. What really tells people, though, is his soul bond ability. If you're playing any sort of dive character and you see Adam in the lobby, you better pray he's alone, because the moment he's near a teammate, soul bond just makes your damage feel like a toddler slapping a refrigerator. You dive in thinking this is my moment, only to realize Adam is standing there, casually erasing the pressure you worked for, like nah bro, not today. And if that was all he had, fine, annoying but tolerable, but no, Adam saved his real trolling power for his ultimate. Back a couple of seasons ago, his revive was practically a free highlight reel for the enemy team. He'd bring his squad back at 25% HP, and that was my green light to pop Venom's ult and just scoop up a shiny pentakill. But now, when he revives people, they don't just come back, they come back with armor. Actual survivability. And that right there is what makes Adam infuriating. You trade ultimates, you burn cooldowns, you finally get the glorious team wipe, and then Adam waddles around the corner, presses his revive, and suddenly it's Groundhog Day. Your team is exhausted, out of resources, and the whole squad gets a do-over. It feels awful. Nothing kills momentum harder than an Adam reset, especially when you've traded Luna ultimates, blown Cloak and Dagger, and maybe even tilted your healers by yelling in comms, only for Adam to stroll in, snap his fingers, and undo it all. So here's the real debate. Is Adam one of the most clutch supports in the game, or is he just a glorified no fun allowed button? Because I swear every time I see a pick revive, I seriously consider ult F4ing. Anyhow, that's gonna do it for me. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't, and I'm gonna get out of here. Have a wonderful day.